From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
It's Monday, February 8th, right now on Good Morning Indiana.
Data from individual schools in the state and across the U.S. indicate that it is rare for student infections to occur from exposure in the classroom when all parties are masked.
COVID protocol changes take effect in Hoosier schools starting today. Working for you, our Troy Washington breaks down what you and your students need to know.
Some people need to be able to work and have a gainful wage while obtaining their education.
Mount Vernon High School is taking students from classroom to career with a new nursing program. Our Kelsey Anderson has details.
We tell kids to reach for the stars. We want to do that in our community. We want to reach for the stars in all of those communities that they're in.
How one wished 15 years ago and a trip to Disney World could help create more inclusive societies in Indiana.
From our family to yours, welcome to Good Morning Indiana, and good morning to you on this Monday morning. Todd Clausen, we have already launched the ticker down below on the screen. And if you're following us on the WRTV app, a number of schools already reporting some delays. I'm going to imagine over some of the ice and snow buildup from the weekend.
Yeah, you know, then the temperatures are really cold in some areas, so maybe just some time to get the buses fired up and going here this morning, because wind chills are down in the negative numbers in some locations. You mentioned, Raphael, the ice. Yeah, nothing's melted, right? And then we got that little coating of snow Sunday evening, so some of the ice is covered by snow. So just give yourself a little bit of extra time, even as you cross off those steps here across central Indiana this morning. 7 in Lafayette right now, 13 in Indy. This is what it really feels like, though. -5 in Peru, 7 is what it feels like in Lafayette, -2 in Muncie, and it feels like 4 in Indianapolis. The wind not very strong here this morning, but with temperatures as cold as they are, it doesn't take a whole lot to factor in these very cold wind chills for us. Now, there are some snow showers here in northern locations. They look a lot more potent on radar than they actually are. They probably don't put down much more than a coating of snow, and that is just about it. But we are expecting another band of snow, very similar to what this one looks like, to come through later on this afternoon, and that'll give everybody a little bit of a better snow chance as we head into the evening hours, with the potential for some accumulation. Here's your temperature trend throughout the day today. Mid-20s as we work our way into the afternoon hours. Once we get past 5 o'clock and into the evening, that's when the snow arrives. More on that coming up in just a few minutes. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look right now at your commute. This is our tower camera here showing you the North Split in downtown. We know there's a crash cleanup underway on the ramp system from westbound I-70 heading into the North Split here downtown. You can see the good news. Traffic that was stopped on that ramp looks like it is back moving this morning, so lanes do remain open in this area. Just use caution. Pay attention as you're heading through downtown at this early hour. We are keeping a close eye on your commute this morning as well on I-65 southbound near 465. We've had our live drive vehicle on the roads. Looks like our camera just fell off the dashboard there, so we'll get back to Shea out in live drive about your commute. There it is. You can see this is I-65 southbound here heading past Keystone Avenue. You can see traffic there is moving along up to speed. We'll continue to keep you updated throughout the morning. Raphael?
Lauren, keep us posted on that. Good morning to Anderson, Columbus, and Lawrence. School quarantine changes are starting today across our state. WRTV's Troy Washington is live this morning with more details on the data behind that key decision. Troy, good morning.
Good morning. Well, experts found that it's actually 3 feet that students and teachers should be away from each other. That comes after finding out that there's not a lot of exposure that occurs in the classroom. A lot of that goes on outside of the classroom. So that is the reason for these changes that go in effect today.
We will no longer require quarantine or contact tracing if the students and teachers remain at least 3 feet apart and are wearing a mask at all times in just the classroom. I want to emphasize that this is for the classroom setting only. It does not apply to lunch, athletics, band, orchestra, choir, or any other school setting where students may gather, nor does it apply to classrooms in which students have been allowed to remove their masks.
Now, these changes come after they determined that since a lot of that exposure wasn't going on in the classroom, it was actually causing more of a burden for those districts. Now, they won't be required to quarantine or to do the tracing as long as they're able to remain 3 feet apart. Reporting live downtown, I'm Troy Washington, WRTV.
Troy, thank you for that. And taking a look at the continued impact of the pandemic on Hoosier lives. The 7-day positivity rate of COVID-19 cases continues to fall. The current 7-day positivity rate is just under 7%. The state health officials report 1,764 new cases of the virus. That brings a total number of reported positive cases to 639,711. And 55 new deaths were also reported since March. 11,401 Hoosiers have died with COVID-19, Lauren.
It is 6:06 today. House Democratic leaders are expected to unveil a plan that provides as much as $3,600 per child as part of President Joe Biden's COVID-19 relief package. Raphael.
And Lauren, this could help thousands of Hoosier families. But if this is passed, John Lawrence reports that the monthly installments could begin as early as July and last for 1 year.
The Biden administration says its COVID-19 relief package will help get people back to work.
I would expect that if this package is passed, that we would get back to full employment next year.
The $1.9 trillion bill also includes aid for small businesses struggling to stay afloat and families experiencing food insecurity.
We're operating in a time of historically low interest rates. This is a moment where the greatest risk we could take, as the president has said, is not the risk of doing too much, it's the risk of doing too little.
Despite President Joe Biden's hopes for bipartisanship, some Republicans are pushing back on the price tag of the bill.
Has all kinds of pork for local municipalities and states. It's all the special interest things that they've actually fought back on.
And claim they're being left out of the process.
Even if we come in good faith with at least 10 and more that would have joined us, and they say they don't care. So you've got that. It takes two to tango. Right now, I'm not sure we have the two to tango.
As the legislative efforts move forward, the Problem Solvers Caucus, a bipartisan group of House lawmakers, is pushing for the rapid passage of a $160 billion package that focuses on vaccine distribution. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
And the time right now is 6:08. New this morning, 2 tigers at the Fort Wayne Children's Zoo have tested positive for the coronavirus. Zoo officials say that animal care staff first saw some mild symptoms in a male Sumatran tiger last Monday. Samples from the tigers were then collected for testing and came back positive. Staff veterinarian Dr. Kami Fox says that the male tiger has been experiencing a dry cough, while the female tiger has not shown any symptoms. Zoo officials say access to the tigers has been restricted and staff will follow safety protocols recommended by the CDC and the Indiana Department of Health.
For future reference. Developing this morning, Metro Police investigating a death on the city's west side. This happened Sunday afternoon, just after 1 o'clock on Hardin Boulevard. Here are more details. That's near West Morris and Washington Streets. Officers were called on a report of a death investigation. When they arrived, they found an adult female with apparent trauma. She was pronounced dead at the scene. At this hour, no victim or suspect information has been released.
And on the east side of town, a man is dead after a shooting early Sunday morning. Just after midnight, officers found a person shot along East Washington Street near South Post Road. The man's identity hasn't been released yet, and the circumstances behind the shooting are also unclear. If you have any information, please call Crime Stoppers at 317-262-TIPS. A wish that continues to inspire. One Bloomington couple says a trip to Disney World 15 years ago still impacts their lives today. Raphael.
You got to meet this guy on this Monday morning. Tyler Kelly was diagnosed with lupus at 12 years old. The then Indianapolis middle schooler says his dream to go to Disney World would have never been a reality without Make-A-Wish. And although the trip to Orlando was 15 years ago, Kelly says the wish means more now than it did back then.
I want to start a community center at one point and give back to little boys and girls who come from communities like mine. It's inspired me to want to go back to school at some point. It's inspired me to really push for diversity, equity, and inclusion in all spaces, right? Recognizing that each person has a story and that each person has a purpose, and that when we come together, when we unite together, we can make a big difference. And so, I live my life inspired and encouraged and excited for what's to come. And it all started when I got to Make-A-Wish when I was 14 years old.
Mr. Kelly, all the best to you and your family. The Kellys both have a passion to continue building inclusive societies. Tyler's wife, Justice, who works for Make-A-Wish, says it's something talked about every single day at the local chapter. She says in August, the organization's local chapter introduced a diversity, equity, and inclusion initiative.
I love that. Well, Mount Vernon High School is on a mission to help students get from the classroom to a career. Coming up, our Kelsey Anderson has details on the new Fast Track CNA program. Todd?
And we're all locked in with these bitter cold temperatures across central Indiana, but some of you will be dealing with a little more snow than others as we work our way throughout the course of the day today. There's some snow showers out there right now, and more snow is on the way for the evening commute. We'll break it all down for you coming up in your WRTV Storm Team Forecast.
Welcome back. Let's get a live look right now at your commute. We're still monitoring this crash at the North Split heading westbound. The ramp system here from the east side on I-70 heading into the North Split. That's where the crash is. And you can see traffic is slowing down just a tad there on the ramp system, so use caution. Also be sure to check the bottom of your screen or your WRTV News app before you head out on the roads or send the kids out there to the bus stop because we have a few school delays posted already this morning. Raphael?
Keep us posted on that, Lauren. Thank you. Hiring Hoosiers is our initiative every single day here at WRTV to connect you to jobs, career development resources, Megan, as well as many, many training programs.
That's right. And this morning, our Kelsey Anderson joins us live with the program at Mount Vernon High School that gets students directly into the workforce after graduation.
Well, now more than ever, the healthcare field is seeing a need for certified nursing assistants. And whether it be at a nursing home facility or with at-home care, they often say that CNAs are the first line of defense when it comes to recognizing the signs and symptoms of heart attack and stroke. And Mount Vernon High School is making it possible for their students to get a jump start in the field. The CNA program here at Mount Vernon allows students to take dual credit courses, get hands-on experience, and get certified so they can work at an assisted living center as soon as they complete the course. Kelly Harney is the co-founder of Hardin Educational Institute, and she says this is an important course and it allows students to make a good wage once they complete it.
You know, we talked about that students aren't, everybody's just not going to get that four-year degree at their traditional college. And so some people need to be able to work and have a gainful wage while obtaining their education. And so these programs allow them to continue as they want more certifications, as they have more trades, but to still be able to work, to assist with providing for their families, to take care of themselves, and continue their education.
We heard from senior Emily Rollo via email, and she says this class has been a good opportunity for her to test the waters and see if the medical field is right for her. And after high school, she does plan to pursue a career in nursing. So right now they have about 15 kids in the CNA program, and Vice Principal Stan Wilkinson says they hope that next year they see more enrollment, and they also hope that they can soon open it up to other schools in Hancock County. Working for you, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
All right, Kelsey, thanks for that. It is 6:16, and this morning there's a new effort to fight a different devastating crisis here in the state of Indiana. The state's Family and Social Services Administration and the organization Overdose Lifeline, Inc. are teaming up to roll out these naloxone box units in every county. These boxes will give more people 24/7 access to naloxone. That's that life-saving drug that can reverse an opioid overdose. Here's how the boxes work.
Anyone who is concerned about themselves or someone they care about experiencing an overdose from an opioid, they can come to this box 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and get the overdose reversal drug without needing to talk to an individual. It removes the barrier.
Justin Phillips there is the executive director of Overdose Lifeline. She says this is one strategy to support Hoosiers who are struggling with addiction. Getting naloxone to people in need is especially important right now because access is more limited in this pandemic. Each box will have 6 to 8 doses, instructions, and referrals on treatment. Businesses or community groups can request a naloxone box to be installed in a highly visible area. The Indiana Interchurch Center is already participating.
Anytime we can help somebody in society, in our community, we're working with all kinds of different nonprofit organizations that are all doing good causes, and I get to see what Overdose Lifeline does on a regular basis.
For more information about the program, you can just visit the WRTV News app and click on this story. There you can also find recovery resources. So if you or someone you know needs help right now, you can also call the Indiana Addiction Hotline. That number is 1-800-622-4357. That's at the bottom of your screen. At 6:18, we want to get a check of our forecast with Todd Clausen on this Monday. Todd, we have been not looking forward to starting this week off. I'll tell you what.
You know, we warned you last week, and I kind of tweaked this graphic a little bit here to update it, but I haven't changed this bottom line since I put it out last Thursday, that we are going to remain below freezing for at least the next 10 to 14 days. So it's a long duration of very, very cold air here that is in place across central Indiana. The one line I did change was this one here at the top. More snow is on the way. Some snow falling out there right now, some accumulating snow later on this evening, and then more snow potentially in the forecast as we work our way into the middle of the week. Let's focus on the cold here first this morning. Single digits in Peru as well as Tipton back into Crawfordsville. Teens as you work your way now from Indianapolis down to the Bloomington area where the temperatures have actually come up a degree in both Indy as well as Bloomington. That's because a little more in the way of cloud cover is moving in. But when you factor in the wind, it still feels like it's below zero in Peru as well as Muncie. 4 is the real field temperature here in Indianapolis. So you definitely have to bundle up. Mostly cloudy skies today. And then as far as the snow showers, there's some out there right now, and there'll be more this evening, especially after we get past this 5 o'clock hour with temperatures that will be in the mid-20s, but it's going to feel like it's in the teens. Now, I'll show you the radar in just a second, but one way you can see if there's snow across the area is by looking at the visibility. And as you look from downtown to the north on our Weather Now camera network, you can see way off into the distance. So now as I go over to radar and you see some of these snow showers starting to develop just north of Indianapolis, it just shows you that they're not all that intense. Yes, there could be some flakes here in Lebanon over into the Cicero, Noblesville area right now, but it's really these darker shades to the north where you have the potential to maybe put down a quick coating of snow across the area. So just be aware of that if your travels take you across northern Indiana or you live in that area. Now, as we work our way throughout the day today, we'll watch for another band of snow to develop here as we work our way into the mid to late afternoon hours. And this will come through during the afternoon hours and into the evening, and then it should wrap up for most of us by about 8 o'clock, but it does linger a little bit longer here in southern locations, and that's where the winter weather advisory is in place by the National Weather Service. In general, this is about a 1 to 2 inch snow for us as it makes its way through. It's that very light, fluffy snow that is going to be out there, but it will be cold enough, obviously, 1 for snow, and 2 for it to stick on the roadways very, very quickly, so be aware of that. Here's the winter weather advisory that is in place as we work our way into the day tomorrow. We're dealing with temperatures still only in the mid-20s, probably not quite as cold tomorrow morning in the morning hours as it is right now, but it's a dry day for us. That changes once again on Wednesday. Wednesday's snow comes in potentially in the morning hours, but there will be a mixing component to the south that we'll have to keep an eye on. That's some freezing rain. And you ask, how are we going to have freezing rain with temperatures in the mid-20s? Well, the temperatures are below freezing at the surface, but warmer air comes in the mid-levels of the atmosphere. And so that's why some of you go over to freezing rain. More cold weather and snow potentially over the weekend, Lauren, with highs only in the teens.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a live look right now at traffic from our live drive vehicle traveling westbound on I-465 near Harding Street down on the south side. Our photographer Shay Goodpaster is in the driver's seat, and this is a dash cam view. You can see traffic is traveling smoothly this morning. Shay tells us he has seen a few little snowflakes down there on the south side for your commute, so keep that in mind, but nothing that's going to slow you down too much this morning. We'll continue to keep you updated. We also have the list of school delays scrolling at the bottom of your screen and on the WRTV News app. Raphael?
And thank you. As you know, February is American Heart Month, and each morning here on Good Morning Indiana, we'll share a tip to help you and your family stay heart healthy. Today's tip, keeping a food diary or logging your intake can help you better understand what you're eating. These tips are all part of the Go Red for Women campaign sponsored by the American Heart Association. Good morning today to Carmel, Cicero, and Clayton, all places to call home, great places to call home in central Indiana. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on WRTV.
It is 6:25. Here's a live look right now at traffic at the North Split, where we're monitoring a crash on the ramp system from westbound I-70 into the downtown area. You can see we have flashing lights on two different parts of that ramp, one there in the center of your screen, one at the top of your screen, and that's creating some backups there this morning, just some slowdowns as you're heading past those two incidents. So keep that in mind if you're heading in from the east side. Of course, we'll continue to monitor that spot and keep you updated this morning. But it is 6:25. We got to talk about what is trending at 6. So Megan, Raphael, we know everyone this morning is talking about the Super Bowl. So Raphael, what are they saying?
So listen, we all like to write on this program, but boy, we could only wish we could write like this young lady. She is simply phenomenal. From Inauguration Day to Super Bowl Sunday, National Youth Poet Laureate Amanda Gorman is captivating the country with her words once again. The 22-year-old delivered another moving poem ahead of the big game, this time honoring frontline workers. Her poem was titled Chorus of Captains.
Let us walk with these warriors, charge on with these champions, and carry forth the call of our captains. We celebrate them by acting with courage and compassion, by doing what is right and just. For while we honor them today, it is they who every day honor us.
Indeed, they honor us. The three workers mentioned in Gorman's poem served as this year's Super Bowl honorary coin toss captains. An amazing message, just an amazing young ladies. And we now go to your forecast on this Monday morning. I'm just still captivated, Todd, by her words. I'm as captivated as the cold temperature that will freeze me in position when I step outside.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get very far outside, Raphael, and you're going to turn around pretty quickly and run right back indoors here this afternoon and even this morning, as temperatures are feeling like they're below zero right now in Peru, as well as Muncie. 4 is what it feels like in Indianapolis. The wind's not very strong this morning. That's the good news. But with temperatures where they are down in the single digits and low teens, that's why we're figuring in those single digit wind chills and some that are below zero. Now, throughout the day today, not much in the way of sunshine. And as we work our way into the afternoon hours, temperatures will be climbing up into only the mid-20s across the area with mostly cloudy skies. However, I do think by 4, 5, 6 o'clock, some snow showers do start to work their way back into the forecast. There will be some accumulation later on this evening. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a few minutes. Megan.
All right, Todd, I got my gloves and my hat ready. Thank you. And thousands of people are getting fake 1099 tax forms claiming they earned unemployment. John Matarese investigates so you don't waste your money.
Many people who never thought they'd be a victim of identity theft are getting hit with a hard reality this month. They're receiving 1099 forms in the mail claiming they received unemployment benefits last year. Joe McFarland is struggling to understand what's been showing up in his family's mail.
She got a 1099 from the unemployment.
His mom, long retired, received a 1099 form claiming she received thousands of dollars in unemployment last year.
I mean, she's, 87 years old. Hasn't worked in years.
Then, while checking his mail,
my wife also got one.
Showing thousands in unemployment benefits. Did your wife earn unemployment money last year?
No, she never applied for it.
Unfortunately, in most cases, this is no joke. If the form includes your name, address, and last 4 digits of your social, it often means someone filed for benefits in your name.
They're likely a victim of identity theft.
Turns out people all over the country are receiving 1099 forms from all different states. Thomas Betty tells me your social was probably stolen in a data breach. He says you should go to the state's unemployment website immediately and fill out a fraud report. The state can then send a corrected 1099 to the IRS that shows you did not receive any benefits.
We will send them a corrected 1099-G form that says 0.
Joe just thinks it's outrageous someone can file for benefits under your name, but they can. This is one scam. We don't just want to tear up the form because a copy of it is on the way to the IRS. So report it so you don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese. Good morning, Indiana.
From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
Now on Good Morning Indiana, on this Monday morning, here's a look at your 6:30 news feed. A man is in jail after leading police on a chase across the city. It started just after midnight near Claremont when officers say a man took off in a work van. Police say the suspect tried to run over an officer and damaged several police cars during the chase. It eventually came to a stop on Monument Circle. Officers say the man had a warrant for syringe possession.
A 29-year-old man from Greenwood is dead after police say that he drove the wrong way on I-65 and crashed his car head-on to another vehicle. State police say this happened early Sunday morning in the southbound lanes of 65 near Southport Road. Police believe that Christopher Catman was driving the wrong way when his vehicle hit an SUV and two other vehicles. Catman died at the scene. Passengers in the other cars were taken to hospitals.
The Indiana Pacers could not snap a losing streak against one of the NBA's hottest teams. The Pacers lost to the Utah Jazz 103-95 here at home at Bankers Life Fieldhouse on Sunday. Utah has won 15 of its last 16 games, while the Pacers have lost 5 of their 6 last games. The Pacers will hit the road this Wednesday night for a game against the Brooklyn Nets.
On Sunday, IU got a huge win for their NCAA tournament hopes. The Hoosiers battled number 8 Iowa at Assembly Hall. The game was tied at 65 as the clock wound down when guard Armin Franklin hit a game winner with less than 2 seconds to play. IU pulls the upset of the Hawkeyes 67-65. The Hoosiers will take on Northwestern this Wednesday. And good Monday morning. Thank you for joining us on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Megan Shin, joined by Lauren Casey and Rafael Sanchez. But let's get straight to our meteorologist Todd Clausen with this cold day. It's accurate to say that today, right?
Yeah, you know, outside right now we're dealing with temperatures that are in the single digits. We're in the teens in some locations. Really depends where you are. The visibility not an issue this morning, despite the fact that there are a few snow showers out there to the north, which I'll show you here in just a second. 13, though, is the actual temperature. Feels like 4 degrees in Indianapolis, but look at some of these actual temperatures to the north in the single digits in Peru as well as in Lafayette. Wind chill values are below 0 as well, so definitely give yourself some extra time. Warm up that car, bundle up as you get going, and then watch those steps out there because we had a little light snow Saturday night, and then that was on top of all the ice that was out there, so there could definitely be a few slick spots here this morning. Some snow showers or flurries from Kokomo to Tipton, but it's really here in northern locations as you get into these darker colors on the radar that there's the potential for a little bit of accumulating snow, but most of that is out of our area pushing now towards the Fort Wayne area. So your commute I don't think is too bad here this morning as far as any falling snow or visibility issues. It's more of a cold issue throughout the morning. Now, as we get into the afternoon and evening, things will change. We're dry through about 1 o'clock with just a few flurries here or there, mid-20s. But as we get into the evening hours, we are expecting some accumulating snow. More on that coming up in just a few minutes. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look right now. Your commute. This is downtown at the North Split, where you're still monitoring 2 issues. You can see right there on the ramp from westbound I-70 into the North Split there at I-65. You can see that traffic is getting a little bit slower on the ramp system, but it's still moving by both of those flashing lights just fine. So you can travel through this area. Just give yourself a little bit of extra time coming in from the east side. Let's take a look right now from our live drive vehicle traveling eastbound on I-70, approaching the South Split. You can see traffic there is moving along smoothly. No crashes or delays here to slow you down, but of course we'll keep you updated. Megan?
Lauren, thank you. President Biden formed a special bond with Indiana's former First Family when Susan Bai was first diagnosed with the same type of brain cancer that took the life of his son, Beau. Now, the president is among many people paying tribute to Susan Bai after her death at the age of 61. Susan Bai had first been diagnosed with glioblastoma in 2018. That was 3 years after she had surgery to remove a benign brain tumor. And Bai was the first lady from 1989 until 1997. That's when her husband, Evan Bai, was governor. The Bais made history as they were the first family to become parents while living in the governor's mansion since 1830, when twins Nick and Beau were born in 1995. The Bai family says a memorial service will be held when health conditions allow it. And President Biden says he and First Lady Jill Biden were saddened to learn of Susan's passing. The president said, quote, "Susan stood out as a singular treasure, a model of goodness, generosity, and grace," end quote.
Turning now to the coronavirus pandemic and its impact right here in our state. This morning, state health officials report nearly 1,800 new cases of the virus. Now, since the pandemic began, nearly 640,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for COVID-19. The state also reports 55 more people in Indiana have died with coronavirus. So far this month, 146 Hoosiers have died with the virus. Now taking a look at the hospital resources available right now. A little more than 34% of the state's ICU beds are available, and nearly 79% of ventilators are open for use statewide.
My father, Paul, played college football here. Later, he coached 6 future pro players and was athletic director at one of Indiana's largest high schools. In March, he was infected with the coronavirus and passed away on Easter Sunday.
Well, its mission was to encourage Hoosiers to get the COVID vaccine when it's available for use, and it was used by a man who has loved to push that message. You may have seen that commercial that aired during last night's Super Bowl. I know we turned it up loud to hear it. It was a tribute to former North Central High School athletic director Paul Logan. Logan died from COVID-19 last April. You may remember the 30-second ad was produced by the state of Indiana in hopes of encouraging Hoosiers to get vaccinated when it's their time and to mask up to protect themselves until then. The Logan family says they were proud to be part of this campaign.
What do you think your dad would think?
Oh, he would have loved it. He definitely would have loved it. He probably would have teared up seeing it, but he definitely would have loved that commercial.
Will there aspires to be an athletic director just like his dad someday. He says the family hopes to have a gala to raise money for the Paul Logan Foundation that was started a few months ago. Now you can watch the full Super Bowl ad in this story. Just click on the WRTV News app. Well, your child may notice a few changes at school today. Next, we'll have a live report on how they might be sitting a little closer together inside the classroom as part of the new COVID-19 guidelines. Raphael.
It's a setback for one of the major coronavirus vaccines. Next, why it's being halted in one country that's seen a major outbreak and how that could impact the United States down the road. That and much more coming up on this Monday, right here on Good Morning Indiana.
Welcome back to the live look right now from our INDOT traffic camera at a crash cleanup. This is happening up in the Lebanon area on I-65, just south of US 52. The crash is in the southbound left lane. As you can see there, traffic squeezing over into one right lane. So it is creating a little bit of a backup, about 5 to 10 minute delay at this time. So just keep that in mind if this is part of your commute this morning. Megan.
Lauren, some changes are coming to Indiana classrooms today. The state changed its approach to containing the coronavirus inside of schools, and it'll impact teachers and students.
That's right. It's an effort really to ease the burden on classrooms, Megan. As experts say, it appears that most of the exposure to COVID-19 is happening outside of the school buildings rather than in the classroom. And our own Troy Washington is joining us live this morning with more on what students, teachers, and staff will notice today. Troy, good morning.
Good morning. Now they'll notice that teachers and students, they'll only have to stay 3 feet away from each other, and that's a change from before when they had to stay at least 6 feet apart. But this is because experts have found that there's actually little exposure and infection going on actually in the classroom.
Data from individual schools in the state and across the U.S. indicate that it is rare for student infections to occur from exposure in the classroom when all parties are masked. That data shows only about 3 to 5% of infections occur in classroom.
Now, these changes will only impact the classroom, so anything else outside the classroom, there will be other implications there. However, this is meant to ease some of that burden that was falling on a lot of the districts. Now, this does impact quarantine and some of that contact tracing that will no longer be required. Reporting live downtown, I'm Troy Washington, WRTV.
Troy, thank you so much. This week, the CDC will release guidance on reopening schools. It's been almost a year, as you know, of at-home learning for some students and are back in the classroom, depending on the school district. But how to minimize the spread of COVID-19 is still a big concern. Some teachers' unions are resisting reopening schools amid fears of infection. President Joe Biden has said he will work to reopen K through 12 schools in his first 100 days in office, but made it very clear he will defer to medical experts to dictate when that actually happens.
It is 6:42. South Africa has halted the rolling out of the AstraZeneca vaccine. This is the vaccine in which IU Health is part of the clinical trials. Researchers in South Africa say testing shows that the vaccine only offers minimal protection against mild and moderate COVID-19 cases. It specifically doesn't protect people from the variant that was first identified in that country. The variant is known as B1351, and scientists say it spreads more quickly. South Africa officials hope to expedite trials of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. They're also looking at other vaccine options that will perhaps be able to target that new variant. Megan.
Mount Vernon High School is taking students from the classroom to career. Coming up, Hiring Hoosiers is shining a light on the school's program that's filling an important healthcare need. Todd.
And we have some snow showers outside right now, moving through northern portions of central Indiana as we work our way into the evening hours tonight, especially in southern locations. We'll get into another round of accumulating snow. Winter weather advisories are posted. We'll break it all down for you coming up in your WRTV Storm Team forecast.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Hiring Hoosiers, our mission at WRTV to connect you to jobs, resources, and training programs. And of course, Megan, there's a big demand for healthcare workers as this pandemic continues across the world, across our country.
Of course, for some students, the preparation for some of those jobs starts in high school. Our Kelsey Anderson joins us with more this morning with more on how Mount Vernon High School is getting young people ready to fill those positions.
Well, now more than ever, the healthcare field is seeing a need for certified nursing assistants. And whether it be at a nursing home facility or with at-home care, they often say that CNAs are the first line of defense when it comes to recognizing the signs and symptoms of heart attack and stroke. And Mount Vernon High School is making it possible for their students to get a jump start in the field. The CNA program here at Mount Vernon allows students to take dual credit courses, get hands-on experience, and get certified so they can work at an assisted living center as soon as they complete the course.
They are learning not only, what is a heart attack, but what are the signs and symptoms? Because CNAs are our first line of defense. They're the first people who notice these in the long-term care. They're around the patient the most with our geriatric patients.
We heard from an NVHS alum who says she wishes this program was available when she was there. She says since she's been in college pursuing nursing, she's noticed a lot of fellow students don't understand what all nursing entails. And that gives future healthcare workers that exposure at a very young age. So right now they have about 15 kids in the CNA program, and Vice Principal Stan Wilkinson says they hope that next year they see more enrollment, and they also hope that they can soon open it up to other schools in Hancock County. Working for you, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Yeah, I have so many people to thank. My wife, Chris, Jake, Christy. My mom's up there. She's 95. Love you, Mom.
Well, we know Colts fans are happy for this guy today. Tampa Bay head coach Bruce Arians finally getting that Super Bowl win. Arians served 2 stints as an assistant coach with the Colts. He was the interim head coach in 2012, while then coach Chuck Pagano was being treated for leukemia. He led the Colts to 9 wins and the playoffs and became the only interim coach to be named NFL Coach of the Year. Well, now, after last night, Arians is the oldest head coach ever to win the Super Bowl. Congratulations.
You always have to thank your mom, Lauren, right?
Right.
Moms are special people. That's right. That's right. Every football player's dream is to score a Super Bowl touchdown. And for one former Colts player, it was oh so close. It came early in the second quarter as Tampa Bay was driving for a score. Tom Brady, you see, throws to the end zone and into the hands of Joe Haig, but the lineman could not hang on to the football. Haig was trying to score on a trick tackle eligible play, and it was oh so close. Haig played 4 seasons for the Colts before signing with the Bucs last offseason. The Bucs, of course, went on to win, and now Joe Haig has a Super Bowl ring. It's all about the effort, and he put his heart into that game. So good for the team. And listen, Todd, so we all are noticing that winter is making itself comfortable, and all of us uncomfortable. But for how long?
Well, the cold is going to stick around for a while here, Raphael, as this is the longest cold stretch we've had in a long time here across the area. In fact, we don't have above freezing temperatures in this forecast probably until the middle of next week. So we're stuck with it for a long time. Some accumulating snow possible tonight, and then another storm on a Wednesday. So not only is it a cold pattern, it's a pretty active pattern. Now, for us, a lot of these snow events are just some minor ones coming through. We're not getting into the big storms like they've had on the East Coast, but nonetheless, some snow enough to slicken up the roadways here later on this evening. Look at the temperatures this morning, single digits to the north, 17 in Bloomington. The difference is a little more in the way of a snowpack still in northern locations compared to less in the way of snow on the ground to the south. Feels like -5 in Peru, -2 is what it feels like in Muncie. Throughout the day today, teens this morning, low to mid-20s for highs later on this afternoon with mostly cloudy skies. And then as we work our way into the evening hours, that's when we're going to start to get into some additional snow showers. I say additional because there's some out there right now in northern locations. Now, as you look to the north, you notice visibility in and around the metro area, not much of an issue for us. But here are the snow showers that are out there. And a lot of this, what you see here from Muncie through Anderson back into the Lebanon, that's just some very light flurries. Probably not enough to cause much of anything in the way of any issues on the roadways for you. A little more in the way of significant snow as you work your way into northern Indiana, but the heavier snow bands have pushed north of US 24 now as you work your way through Logansport, Peru, and then eventually off towards the Fort Wayne area. Now, as we work our way into the afternoon hours, we'll see some additional snow start to develop as we work our way into about the 2-3 o'clock time frame. And this is going to come through with the heavier totals actually being a little further to the south, it looks like, as we work our way into the evening hours on Monday. It's very quick hitting. It comes through very, very fast. By the time we get to 8-9 o'clock tonight, things are starting to wrap up across the area. Generally, north of Indianapolis, on top of the snow showers that are happening right now, an inch or less of snow, but we could see another about 1 to 2 inches of snow as you work your way from I-70 southward throughout, again, the course of this evening. And there are winter weather advisories there in southern locations. Tomorrow's a pretty quiet day for us, just cold once again. Not quite as cold in the morning with a temperature of 19, but the afternoon highs are still only in the mid-20s. And then we get to Wednesday, and I mentioned that additional storm. It's not a big storm once again, but it may be enough to put down some higher snowfall totals across the area compared to just an inch or two that we have today. So it's something to keep an eye on. Also, we'll have to keep an eye on Wednesday, the potential for some freezing rain mixing in southern locations. Once that storm passes central Indiana on Wednesday, it does pull down even colder air, unfortunately. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, high temperatures only in the teens. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We're keeping a close eye on traffic this morning up in the Boone County area as we are monitoring crashes for you in the southbound lanes of I-65 near US 52, creating a bit of a backup. We know there's one blocking the left lane at this hour, and if you look off in the distance, it looks like we have another crash in that area. The Boone County Sheriff saying that there's 2 crashes you need to watch out for in that area, so just use caution. You can see traffic is backing up at this hour as it's shifting over into that one right lane, so just give crews plenty of space. Pay attention as you're heading through this area in both directions, and of course we'll keep you updated. But let's take a look right now from our live drive vehicle. Our photographer Shay Goodpaster in the driver's seat. This is a dash cam view on I-70 traveling eastbound on the east side of town near I-465 where things are traveling much smoother. We'll continue to keep you updated, and we'll have more of your top stories coming up just after the break. Stick around.
Welcome back at 6:55 on Good Morning Indiana. If you don't like the bitter cold this past weekend, Todd Clausen has bad news for you for later this week. He has a look at your forecast right after your top stories on this Monday morning.
Let's get started. Metro Police investigating a death that took place on the city's west side. This happened Sunday afternoon just after 1 o'clock on Hardin Boulevard. That's near West Morris and Washington Streets. Officers say a woman with apparent trauma was pronounced dead at the scene. So far, no victim or suspect information has been released.
Over on the east side of town, Raphael, a man is dead after a shooting early Sunday morning. Officers found a person in the 9400 block of East Washington Street just after midnight. That's over over near South Post Road. The man's identity has not been released. The circumstances behind that shooting are still unclear at this time. Megan.
A man is in custody in Shelby County after deputies say he was standing in the road and firing a gun at vehicles. The Shelby County Sheriff's Office says this happened Sunday afternoon on State Road 44. That's just east of I-65 interchange. Deputies say at least one vehicle was struck with a bullet, but no injuries were reported. The suspect was captured after a short chase.
Let's get a check of that forecast right now. Todd is standing by with what we can expect as we head out the door, Todd.
Yeah, lots of cold air in this forecast from start to finish across your 7-day planner, as we'll be in the 20s the next couple of days, and then eventually by the end of the week, temperatures will only be in the teens with low temperatures in the single digits. So it's hard to imagine, but another reinforcing shot of colder air will be heading our way. Now, as far as our immediate future, this afternoon and this evening, some light snow does make its way back into the area. Most of us see an inch or less, but southern locations, once you get south of I-70, could see about 1 to 2 inches of snow. That snow wraps up this evening, though, so that's good news for Tuesday, and then another storm system for Wednesday.
All right, Todd, thank you. We're back in 25 minutes and throughout Good Morning America with the latest news, weather, and traffic updates.
And don't forget, all your news can be found throughout the day on the WRTV mobile app. Stay warm.